What plans, Vice-Chancellor, does the university have to provide additional support to early career researchers to establish their research profiles? I was struck by the My Voice results in 2015. They showed that academic staff at levels B and C in particular had the least confident about Western Sydney procedures, governance, leadership, recruitment processes, and they felt the least comfortable with workload, with work-life balance, with feeling emotionally well at work. What can we do for the Bs and Cs? What are we doing for them?
Look, it's a good point. I think you were one of the first to pick up that trend we were seeing in a lot of the data emerging from the My Voice survey, that across particularly the academic staffing spectrum from A to E, we saw level A academics with a particular view, quite a positive view of the institution and their place within it, and Ds and Es similarly. But it was the level B and C academics, our lecturers and our senior lecturers, that were experiencing, I think, some really difficult circumstances in workload, in work-life balance. They're often in their mid-career or early to mid-career, so they're looking to develop their research track record. They need to look to win external research funding. At the same time, they're often coordinating units, they're supervising casual staff or having a range of other administrative and teaching responsibilities. It's intense. And I think it brought home to the institutions of the university that this was a group that we needed to particularly focus some attention on. And you mentioned ECRs as a group within that, particularly our early career researchers. Now, I think the university's actually been doing a great deal, and increasingly so over the last few years, to support our early career researchers. I think there are a number of ways we're doing that. We have seed grant schemes that are operated. I think we've put in about $3.5 million over the last 3 years into various grant schemes, and I'm very pleased about career interruption grants that we're offering, and particularly for women, to encourage more women to have an opportunity to improve their track record and their research profile, and from that, of course, greater opportunities for promotion and to move through the structure. We still have a gender pay gap here. It's something that we are concerned about. We need to address it. We need to find pathways to support our female staff to advance through the organisation. So I'm glad that those schemes have been focused there, but also on the developmental and mentoring end of the spectrum. I'm very pleased that the schemes we're running there. Speed mentoring is a great example of that, and I'm pleased when I have an opportunity to be involved in speed mentoring that the follow-up you get from the staff, the ECRs that have been involved in that, and it's great to hear them coming back and they're implementing some of the ideas, they're tapping into some networks, they're using the senior colleague that was there at mentoring to help them to make connections. And you know, I've done that with you.
Yes.
I've from time to time connected an academic, a young researcher in one discipline into your research group, and I think that builds a cross-institutional connection that's a very, very valuable one, let alone the external connections. So we're doing a number of things. I'm sure we could do more. The resources are always an issue here, but I'm pleased with the progress we're making. I know Deb Sweeney and Scott Holmes are very focused on this as an issue, but I think it's also important for our deans to recognise within schools, from the teaching, administration and governance perspective, the pressure that those B and C staff are under at a school level. What are you doing to support them?
Yeah, so we're looking at some mechanisms too, whereby we can provide some allowances and some, whether that's time or small amounts of money, so that they can manage all of those multiple priorities they have, still be able to attend the conference that we want them to get to, those sorts of things. So they're mechanisms that we're looking at the moment for the academic staff, the Bs and Cs certainly. I think that's the best way forward. Of course, the interesting thing will be whether any of these show up in an improved My Voice result when we rerun the survey, of course. It might well be that this is just demographically a tough time in academic life.
Yeah, I think that is true, but that certainly doesn't mean that we don't attempt a number of new initiatives, which we've done. I think the other thing we're doing this year, as a final point on this, is we'll be developing our new people strategy. And Susan Hudson and the team in the Office of Human Resources are working on this at the moment, and they'll be reaching out across the university to talk to our academic and professional staff about what our people strategy should look like in the context of 2017 and beyond. It'll certainly be a 3-year strategy initially to take us towards that 2020 point at which securing success will end, and we'll move into a new strategic planning cycle. So I think that's another opportunity for people to have input to, well, what new initiatives should we be considering? How can we be more flexible? How can we address issues like the gender pay gap issue? How can we encourage more Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander staff to come into the organisation and have opportunities for development? Do we have our professional development arrangements right? Are our sabbatical ADP arrangements, are they meeting our needs in the context of 2017 and beyond? And how do we accommodate perhaps a more flexible and changing work environment generally in the academic workforce into the future? How do we take into account the changing technology interface that our colleagues need to deal with? So I think the people strategy is an exciting chance for people to have some input into shaping that into the future.